Good day, Brittle Planet listeners. This is Eric Peterson in Salt Lake City today, and it is my great honor to be joined by the Mr. Ronnie Atkins today. How are you doing, Ronnie?
Think I'm good, man, Eric.
Good.
Real good.
Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from Vejle in Denmark, which is like an hour from the northern Germany border. It's an hour from the German border, actually.
Okay.
On the mainland of Denmark. Yeah. It's like
And-
250 kilometers from Copenhagen. I mean, most people probably know Copenhagen when we say
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah. And how are things over there?
Well, there's so many bad things happening here in Europe right now, as you of course
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty surreal. I mean, there's a very depressive mood among people because of what's going on, and for a reason. For me too. I mean, I'm a news freak normally, but I fucking hate watching the news right now. It's pretty scary
Yeah.
and horrible to watch what's going on down there. It's just horrible.
I mean, that saying where you're at just means you're just a little bit closer. I mean, you're a lot closer than we are here in the United States, but you're pretty close to what's going
I mean,
on.
it's just the fact that Putin is doing what he's doing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the first time since 1945 we're having a war in Europe, mainland
Yeah.
Europe. That he just overrun a country, and what's going on down there is close to genocide. It's probably genocide. I mean, it's just horrible, and the man is completely ruthless.
Yeah.
And the Ukrainian people are heroic. I mean, every Danish heart goes out to the Ukrainians. I mean,
Yeah.
we try to support them as much as we can. Get a lot of refugees here, and stuff like that. That's all we can do right now. I just hope for peace, man. I just hope this doesn't turn into something uh, apocalyptic. I mean, it's really serious. It's really serious.
Yeah.
So,
And so we talked a little bit about it ourselves, but how are you? How are you feeling?
Personally,
Yeah.
my health,
Yes.
my health. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Just went through. I felt good actually for a long time. Just been scanned recently. We'll get the answers tomorrow, but I feel good, so I don't suspect there's anything wrong. So
Good.
I'm fine. Yes.
I always tell people I never considered myself a cancer survivor, because to me that sounds like I was a victim. I always consider myself a cancer conqueror.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just 2.5 years into this. It's 2.5 years since I got cancer, and I'm too humble to say I'm a cancer survivor. Because I mean, I don't know. Basically, my diagnosis is the same. I mean, I had a lot of treatment during the last 2 years, but I don't get treatment anymore now, and I'm just humble and grateful for the fact that I heads up and legs down.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Well, let's dive right into your new album, Make It Count. It comes out March 18th, and it's almost 1 year from your last album that came out, One Shot, right?
Apparently so, yes.
Which to me, as you know, was one of my favorite, made our top 10 for 2021. I thought it was a brilliant album. And this album leaves off right where that one, or picks up right where that one left off. Yeah,
but I mean, in many ways, I mean, I'm always anxious to see the first review. I just saw 2 reviews today that was really good, and so and that makes me happy because it's in the same style as the first album, but then again, I think it's a little bit different, But I still touch the same topics and stuff like that. It's still kind of a personal album in many ways.
Yeah.
In fact, it was hard to get away from that topic at some point, and it's done the same way, recording the vocals first to a demo, and then we did the real instrumentation in the end. And so in many ways, it's the same thing. I just had these songs and I kept writing, some of the 2 of the songs were already kind of completed when I released One Shot. And so we just carried on really. And so yeah, it's kind of the same thing basically.
How does the writing process work for you? Is it just something that comes into your head and you stop and jot it down, or is it something you consciously sit down and do?
It can come in the middle of the night when we have guests and I say, sorry, pardon me, I got to go upstairs and record this on an acoustic guitar or on a piano,
Yeah.
Or I can sit by the piano with the guitar, and then sometimes the chords comes first, and but normally the melody comes first,
Yeah.
And a piano inspires you in one way and the guitar in a different way, So it's but I mean, the main difference in doing this one and the first one was that when I did one shot, I was in shock and in grief, actually, because that was just after I had this message that I had stage 4 cancer.
Mhm.
And this one, when we did this album, I kind of learned to cope with it. We were still on a lockdown, not as bad as the year before, but apart from that, I felt I was better at coping with reality, and came to the point where I realized that I learned to realize that this is it. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't change it. It is what it is. So let's just get moving. And that's the main difference from this one and the first one. It's still the same people, more or less, involved in it. The guys from At the Movies, Chris Laney producing it, and a great feeling doing the album. I love all those guys who's playing on the album, and I feel, as I did on the first album, I feel there's a lot of love and dedication on the album.
Yeah,
which is great.
I mean, for me, that it's, as was with the last album, there's just a lot of heart put into the album,
Yeah, and not just from myself, actually, but
yeah,
from everybody, and that is fantastic. I really think it is. But it is, I said, it's my own album, and it's a solo album, not a Pretty Maze. It's also lyrically, I mean, there are issues and topics I'm singing about. It comes from the heart because it really is serious.
Yeah.
It's not just fiction. It's something that actually has happened to me and things seen from my perspective, so it's songs that I would never have introduced, some of them, and the lyrical content I'd never have used on the Pretty Mates album, because in Pretty Mates I'm representing a band, not me as a solo artist. So in that way, it's, as I said, it's been, once again, this time it's been therapy for me doing it, instead of, having long talks with a psychologist or whatever, that this is the way it works for me, or has worked so far.
Well, the first song that spoke to me was Unsung Heroes. And I just went right to it. And I love the larger than life introduction of it. And it reminds me of a song that you would hear at the end of, like, The Lion King, the musical. It has that inspiration, inspiring feeling.
Say that. Yeah. It's got that kind of vibe,
Yeah, just
like the circle of life, right?
Yeah, exactly. It does. I mean, and
it's just because you mentioned it now, because I never thought about it. But it is kind of grand, It's kind of epic. Me and Chris are on the same page here. We love that. He's got a great set of ears, for producing this, because it was actually, I just wrote the song, no particular beat, with the beat, I set the beat on a piano with metronome, and then, and that's the bit. But he came up with a go, which is cool, and it works, and it did the song only better.
Yeah,
so, it's a great collaboration,
And then lyrically, I mean, I know it references some, soldiers and stuff, but I feel like it goes deeper than that, and references, the people that take care of us.
Exactly. It doesn't really matter if the guy's the firefighters at Ground Zero, or it's the guy on Tiananmen Square, or it's the people down in Ukraine that goes first, to protect and fight for their freedom. The country. That's what the song is all about. I mean, this song was written before this, right?
Yeah.
But that goes out to those guys. I mean, that's what it is.
Because when I first heard it, I immediately went to the nurses that took care of people during COVID, and the nurses that took care of you and me when we were going through our issues.
Absolutely. It's about the nurses as well. I don't, maybe not mentioning them, but that's one of the reasons why I wrote it. Was actually what inspired was some of the. I got this picture from 2020 in the beginning, when the whole thing broke out. I got some pictures from Italy and from New York and stuff like that, for all those people walking around in their plastic, trying to desperately save people's lives, So that's what it's dedicated to all those who goes first in line, whether it's a nurse or it's a soldier or a firefighter or whatever.
And it like I said,
we got these people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a perfect song for them because it has that grand sound to it. So
Well, thank you. It's good. I like it too. Yeah.
The next song, I mean, is obviously like Rising Tide. I mean, I feel like sometimes we are the biggest threat to our own existence.
Mhm.
and
We are.
and
Yeah,
that
we are.
and that
Well, we
song
are.
says it.
It's something I started writing about. You go back in the Pretty Mates catalog, in the mid '80s. I think it was the first time I wrote about, or in the '80s, I wrote about the hole in the sky, about the ozone layer and stuff like that. And I said I'm a news freak, and I'm very much interested in history and politics in general. I'm not trying to impose anything on people, and I'm not trying to say, hey, vote for this party or this party. Not like that. I'm basically trying to write about topics that I think concern us all, without trying to be Superman or a saint or trying to save the
Yeah.
world. I'm just mentioning it. It's something we should think about. And I just always felt more attracted to write about issues like that than Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
or sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There's so many other people good at writing about that. That's just personally what interests me, and Rising Tide, apparently the climate change is one of the biggest issues right now. So
Yeah. One of the other songs I love on the album is Blood Cries Out, and I was curious to the lyrically where your inspiration came for that song.
Well, I can tell you very clearly. I was actually watching. Of course, the song could be about. It could be about Putin. It could be
Yeah.
about Assad in Syria. It could be about Kim Jong Un, in North
Yeah.
Korea. Whatever. It's about tyranny. It's about dictatorships. There's a movie on Netflix that was a documentary. I think it's called "How to Build a Tyrant" or "How to Become a Tyrant" or something like that. It's something like that. That's actually where I got it from. That's what inspired me to do that one, because it was one of the later songs we did. The song was musical. We actually wrote that one with Chris in Stockholm, like in the summer. And then later on, we decided let's use it. We need some metal on this album as well, And at that time, I was just desperately trying to find some topics that wasn't about me and my personal experiences. And trying not to repeat myself, not trying to write about something I've written about 100 times before. I mean, that's difficult because I've been writing songs now in 35, 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what it's all, and that's where the idea came from, actually.
Mm-hmm. And then the song that I feel like was most relevant to me was, of course, Make It Count. Mm-hmm. The song encapsulates what you and I already know, but you got to make every day count. And I also love the kind of, to me, it had kind of a 70s, kind of almost a disco.
Sure, right. But that's it. And again, this is a funny thing, because I mean, the song is based around I had this intro piano idea for years, I think it's probably 10 years old or more. I don't know. So I was just fiddling around with it, and I got a melody for the chorus for it, and then I wrote the rest of the stuff. Actually, it's written on the piano, all of it, as a ballad. And then I sent it up to Chris, and Chris sent me a version. Hey, I got this crazy idea. I think we should go. What if we went ABBA on this?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a huge ABBA fan, and so is he. And it's one of the greatest pop groups ever. And it's the soundtrack of my youth, So mm-hmm. like so many other bands, but ABBA was constantly, putting out hit records,
Yeah.
And so he did that, and then on top of that, and I said, yeah, this is great. But so when it changed in the middle, is to his credit, because it totally changed character of the song, which is so cool, which is great. And on top of that, he used to work in the Polar Studios where ABBA did all the recording stuff. So he knew Lasse Welander, the guitar player from ABBA,
okay,
who was playing on the song. And so he said something, we got to get this and this guy playing on it, and it was a guy I didn't know. But then he said, oh no. Then this guy said, why don't you get the real guy, which was Lasse Welander, who he actually knew from when he worked in Polar. And he played on all ABBA's albums since Arrival in '76 with Dancing Queen and Knowing Me, Knowing You,
wow,
up until the new album. And I was just like, wow, yeah, I want to give that a, get that off my bucket list,
Yeah.
And he did a great job, because I mean, I got great guitarists on this album, and John Burke was playing, fantastic guitarist, and there's a lot of shredding and stuff like that, but he plays so differently with a totally different feel, and he put this almost kind of chick guitar, you know. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. It turned out great. I was a little anxious about how people would you know, about the reception of that song, because some people might have thought that yeah, we need some metal here, you know.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely one of my favorite songs of the album too. The
Good.
song in itself is just good, but it's a great production.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's good that you got to check off a bucket list, you know, and
Well, now I can say that I've played with somebody that played on an ABBA album, and
exactly.
I
And I mean, that's the best part about that is the song we talk about making it count and doing those things, and that's making it count right there.
well, it definitely counts for me.
Yeah.
No, but I like the songs. I love the song. I think the whole song, the whole atmosphere of the song, I'm really happy with, you know, because
Yeah.
not all the lyrical content as well. It just all kind of comes together, you know, on that song.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for it. And also the song had a great reception so far. So now I'm a 57-year-old man. If that song came out like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, it could
Yeah.
have been on the radio, but these days people don't want to play it on the radio. All we got is YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
So I wanted to ask you, do you have any plans for performances this year? Do you gonna go out?
I do actually. I just announced a week ago or something. With the first gig, I'm going to do a festival here close to my hometown that we played with Pretty Mates before in the past, and I'd like to go out with these songs, you know. And Pretty Mates is not happening at the moment. I'd like to go out anyway and try to play some of my own songs. It's got to be like starting from scratch, you know, because I never played these songs in the rehearsal room, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to remember lyrics again. I mean, if I go in on stage and play Future, I'll never forget these lyrics. But now I really got to go into it, you know. And I started singing every day, or I will start singing every day, you know, to get my voice back in shape, you know. Because one thing is being in the studio or sitting home by the piano or whatever, writing, you know. Another thing is being on stage. So I got to find out. I lost some lung capacity, and I got to find out where am I.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will do like 4 or 5 gigs to begin with in Scandinavia, and then see what happens, you know, because the restrictions are lifted up here. So that's the plan, yeah. And then
are you doing anything with Avantasia?
I might. I mean, they'll be doing some festivals this summer. It all depends. And, you know, it's difficult for me to plan, but I've been in contact with Toby, of course. But it's hard for me to plan right now. Too far away. I want to go out and do this. That's for sure. And I hope I'll be doing Avantasia too. So.
And are you a part of the new album, the new Avantasia?
I don't know. I can't announce that if I am.
Okay. All right.
But I did some recordings like more than a year ago. So let's see where it ends up. You know, I think he's about to complete the album. You know.
Yeah. It's funny because I've talked to a few people in the gang of you guys, and everybody. Eric Martin was the last person I talked to, and I said to Eric, "Did you get your parts for the new Avantasia album?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got them, but it took forever." And I was like calling everybody, "Hey, did you get your parts?" And everybody'd say, "Yeah, I got my parts." And he's like, "I was the only one that hadn't gotten mine yet." And he was like, "I was worried I was going to get shunned from it."
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, it's Eric Martin, man. We had so many good times on the road. But I can't wait to see all those guys. You know, it's like as I said before, it's like one big family. So many good guys. I mean, there's so many characters in the band, and there's so many. You know, so many for me great singers. You know, the great thing about it is there's no ego shit. I mean, and that's the cool thing I like about it. You know, because it's singers that came out at the same time as me. You know, like Jeff. I was a big Queensryche fan. You know, Jeff Tate, Eric Martin. I was a Mr. Big fan too. Back in the day, Jon Lande is a great singer, Norwegian Jon Lande.
Yeah.
So, it's just good guys, and it goes for everybody, the musicians, the crew, everybody. It's just like one big family. So I'm pretty sure everybody's looking forward to do it, you know, but let's see what happens.
I'm supposed to be they're supposed to come to town, Seven Spires with Adrian, and she's supposed to come to town, and so I'm excited to ask her some stories about the Avantasia, her time with Avantasia. So
see her, say hi from me. I mean, I write with her now and then, on WhatsApp, but yeah, she's a good girl. She joined the last tour, and she did a great job. Absolutely. And I saw she was touring. Actually, I think Herbie Langhans is there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Herbie's going to be there.
Firewind, right?
Yeah.
Hi to him too, if you see him.
I will say hi to both of them. Yeah. The voice that can come out of that girl is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. She's technically totally schooled, man. I mean, but she can sound like the devil.
Yeah.
I did this part, and she can sing like an angel,
Yep.
She's got like a devil on one shoulder or angel on the devil on the other. I don't know, but she's good. She's absolutely good. I mean, she can growl, she can do all that. I'm not so much into growling, but we did a part together where that was a growling part that but I actually gave that part to her because she was much better at growling than me. So we did it together, and it was good fun. It was one of the highlights, for me every night. It was good fun. She's a good girl. I wish her a lot of success.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Ronnie. It's been amazing talking to you. And as always, I have to encourage everybody to go physically pick up a copy of your latest album, Make It Count, when it comes out on March 18th, because it's an amazing album. So
thanks a lot, Eric. Yeah, please go pick it up. I'd appreciate that.
Don't just stream it. Pick up a physical copy.
That'd be cool.